so foggy out today. Drinking this for lunch. Hey friends, today I'm going to take you guys through some of the Traveler's Notebook refills that I filled up throughout this year. And today is going to specifically be the first one that I started the year with, or should I say I ended 2024 with, because with this Traveler's Notebook, I brought this refill featuring the Taiwan beer with still the no drink and drive sticker literally stuck onto it because of regulations in Taiwan. I took this on our kind of like our long vacation with Elliot last winter. We started off with Seoul, South Korea, and ended in Taiwan. So I thought that this refill is a very appropriate design for our trip. Starting first with a leg to South Korea and then going home to Taipei. And of course I had to include my little boarding pass. I was able to dig out these Traverse Factory Airport kind of flying tape, which I love. It's kind of like, see, like this is the carousel luggage, the runway, all that. And then I usually put a little bit of a opening photo in here, and this is Ellie and I at the really cool department store in Seoul. And then I also used this little section, like little window, to indicate the days that this refill like has included. And this is just a little cute kind of relaxed kitty sticker that I got from South Korea. Usually I get really excited about writing in my Traveler's Notebook, and it typically starts on the plane. So I found that as a trend, most of my Traveler's Notebook refills for trips started with like a review about what I watched on the flight. And you'll see soon, I try to keep up on journaling every day, and then they just kind of like start to fall off. But then I still managed to like kind of like preserve the space so that I knew I was going to write in it because I wanted to keep it chronological. And these are little stamps that I collected. Where are these from? Oh, from the store Little Temple. It was super cute. We ate a ton of KBBQ on this trip. It was Elliot and my favorite thing to do. And of course I had to hit up the partner shop in Seoul by the Nansam Tower, or the Seoul Tower. The store is called Times, Times, I think. And I was able to get their partner shop stamp here. Actually, it's called the Time, Time. And then these are their stickers and stamps. And at the beginning, of course, I didn't have any photos, so I just ended up doing a lot of supplemental drawings of my KBBQ, of us visiting this little corner of the town. My sister came with us, so we were able to always get quite a lot of like desserts together. And I actually think this is exactly where I fell off journaling on the trip, because on the next page you can see these Taiwanese stamps. So I just stopped journaling. I think I was using a separate journal to keep track of my days, but these are all put together once I got back and had my photos printed. But these are actually stamps from a stationery store in Taipei. We did the really fun the 4-shot photos that's very popular in Seoul or in all over South Korea. And Elliot looks so funny with his Matrix glasses. Yeah, we went to Ikseodong, Hanok Village. I just love taking photos of like the street scenes, the angles, you know. And because I feel like it's quite hilly there, so you can always have cool vantage points of like buildings just towering in the edge, or some points you're just kind of looking up and there's like just the sky. It's a really interesting juxtaposition, in my opinion. Had to taste some regional cool drinks. This is like the Harabon juice, which is like the Jeju Island oranges, I think. Salt bread, it's a big thing there, apparently. And they're basically just like little rolls with a little butter in the center, and then overall the butter part also has a little salt, and like they drizzle some sea salt on top. But I think maybe it's the texture that people like, but otherwise it's just pretty plain rolls to me, in my opinion. But the K barbecue is what we love the most. We went to so many great places. Some I used the app Red Note to research because that's what a lot of people in Asia use to recommend things, or like do like travel vlogging and like travel recommendations. But then and also because like in South Korea, their internet environment is a little bit different from the Google environment, so it's harder to find reviews unless you're familiar with Korean and can go on Naver. So I relied a lot on Taiwanese recommendations and like Asian recommendations on other apps. And we found some cool places. Plus, my sister used to study abroad in South Korea, in Seoul specifically, or Chungcheon, which is a little bit outside of Seoul, for a year. So she actually kind of knows the in and outs, and she pretty much has been going to Seoul consistently with her friends throughout these years. We went to Seongsu-dong and went to the store Point of View, which is my favorite stationery store there. It's huge and it's filled with a ton of really cool items, finds, and the curation of stationery product there is a mixture of high-end, classy European goods, Japanese stationery, local Korean brands, but then also like a lot of cool European like desk accessories and materials. So maybe I'll have some photos in here. And then the coffee shop culture in Seoul is just blows my mind. We pulled up a map once. I don't know if I printed it out, but there would be a ton of coffee shops just showing up on the map, on the Naver app, whenever you want a place to sit. So my sister, who came along with us on this trip, Elliot, the three of us literally were able to go to quite a lot of coffee shops. And this one's recommended by Jenny from Blackpink. We got a ton of chicken dishes. This one's a giant pot where they just throw an entire chicken in there with chicken stock. You cook it for a long time, you eat it with rice cakes, and then you can add kimchi. We happened to sit next to this group of like old men, just like really having a hearty time and like really fun time. And then they were looking at us kind of like fumbling around, and then they were like, you guys need to just add all of this kimchi down and like help like reach over, grab the kimchi tray and dump the entire content into our pot. And we're like, oh my goodness, because we were seeing other people kind of trying it like without first, but it ended up being really, really good. So I guess trust the locals. Something that I really wanted to try to indulge in is the raw crabs, the marinated crabs, gejang and 간장 gejang, and the spicy ones too. Elliot wasn't that intrigued, so we actually went to an area where he can go to the next door restaurant to have army stew, kimchi jjigae, budae-jjigae. And then while my sister and I, we just like ate the crab, and then we came out at the same time. It was perfect. My favorite neighborhood, I guess, in the past when I've been to Seoul had been Hongdae, because it's kind of this young and hip neighborhood, and there's a ton of cute stores and just fun things to look at with all the store decor, murals and signs, all that stuff. And I went to Object, which is this 3-story building with a ton of stationery / artists / creators merch. Essentially, if you're into cute stationery and like fun little things to add to your book, or accessorize your bags, or accessorize your phones, or accessorize your bags and pouches, the Object is where you need to be. They have a huge collection, I think, of over like 200 artist stuff, just like all in there. I don't know if this thing is showing up, but there is another store that I didn't write on here that was also like a curation, a sticker curation place, but an artist curation place, so it actually focuses only on stickers. So over, like, I would even say 300 artists and their home printed sticker sheets or mass made ones, and all in one place. That was really nice. I wonder if I mentioned it in the past, but oh, this is one memorable meal where we had pork. We had the Jeju Island black pork that they're known for, and they grew it for you on like over fire first, kind of searing it, and then you kind of cook it with your own grill at the table. And then there's this little pot of what they call, like, it's like a drug sauce because it's so addicting. I think they like to call a lot of things drugs because they are so, you know, you just want to keep eating it. My sister and I also indulged in some spa. Like, there's a lot of these places called Jijibang, and where you can just go and, like, you know, use the public bath and then enjoy these like saunas, and there's public spaces for you to lounge about. And we're there for the food and the hot water. So it was very cold in Seoul, by the way. When we got there, it was like almost 2-3 degrees Celsius, so almost close to freezing. But this is just like, you know, canteen ramen and shike, which is this rice drink, which is my favorite. And then when we go back to our hotel, we always have to pick up another drink. There's so many cute drink stores in South Korea. And my favorite Byungwoo-suk happened to be the ambassador for Ediya coffee. And so I got it many times for the cup sleeves. This day is filled with stationery again, and actually most of the itinerary for Seoul was stationery. Elliot was able to tag along sometimes, but I'm glad I had my sister with me because we could kind of split off, and sometimes she splits off from us to go do her own like clothes shopping. So we had a good balance of who's hanging out with who most of the time. But we always get together for the meals, and this is where we had this delicious garlic drenched marinated kalbi, which is like short ribs. And it just like our mouth was on fire with like the garlic stench. We had to like run to the nearest coffee shop, which actually happens to be the Intelligentsia store. But it's like in this renovated Hanok, which is I guess the retro style of Korean buildings. So it's a lovely meet of East and West. And, you know, the seating areas are actually these platform beds that you can kind of like climb onto and sit cross-legged. I had to like wash down my garlicness with matcha. Oh, but right next to the Kaibi place was Blue Black, which is a fountain pen store. And they had some cool exclusives with inks made by Sailor, inks made by Daiming, cool pens from Japan. It's pretty cool. And I realized this is where I first missed this cool South Korean only pen that they had a collaboration with, but then I was able to find it at another location. So this area is called Sejong Village, where we were, Blue Black, the Kaibi, and then there was just like a little cluster of stationery stores, design stores, household goods, accessory stores. So Little Tempo, All Right, Lim Dui, Papier Prost, Oaf Seoul, which is a bookstore, and one more bag. So this is where Elliot left us. I don't know what he went to do, but my sister and I went and checked all the boxes, and you know, visited a ton of stores on one day, on one afternoon actually. I do have to share like a very interesting thing. I don't know if I was like full or I was like feeling a little like weird from having eaten too much, and then like the warmth of my jacket, the cold air outside. But when I was in All Right, this little cool kind of retro store, it's full of like these cool postcards and their own brand of notebooks. But when I went in there was a point where I felt oddly suffocated, and like I suddenly felt nauseous, dizzy, and I don't want to sound weird, but it was a moment where I thought, oh my god, is this place kind of giving me spirit haunting vibes and it's affecting my chi. I had to like I was like, oh, Jenny, my sister, I was like, I need to go out and take a breath. So I went out because this is kind of in an old house, and sometimes in Chinese we would say the 磁场, the ambience doesn't quite feel right, and so I had to like come out and like sit on the outside and just kind of like let the cool air clear my head a little bit. But I was totally fine at all the other stores. It's just the sun. Something's weird with the sun. But anyway, just a little anecdote that I don't think I shared with anyone yet with this trip. And if I tell Elliot, he'll just brush it off. But my sister was like, yeah, that was weird. Anyway, we came across this coffee shop because my sister and I, we walked the whole afternoon. We had the coffee. We used the bathroom there, but we really needed to go to the bathroom again. As well, like the next coffee shop we see, let's just walk in and go in there. And then we happened to just stumble onto this another like old building. It's Hanok kind of, they preserve all the ceilings, the beams and all that stuff. Really cool coffee shop. And we ended up just sitting in here and relaxing for like almost like an hour or so. It's called Pirunche. And it's really cool because this place has like almost zero reviews on Google. It felt, and like not even much on Naver. It just felt like a very hidden gem for us when we tried to look it up on Google once we sat down, and it was very nice. The whole ambience was really cool. And that night I got to try something that I really have always wanted to after watching all these Korean food shows, is the tuna all you can eat. And so essentially it's this like course, is it a course meal? There's like, you go in, the menu just gives you like certain grade, and then like with certain level of pricing that you choose, you get like a series of side dishes, the banchans, the plates, and then like the level, I guess, of the tuna pieces differs. And then we went for kind of the premium. And then once we cleared this, they're like, more? Okay. And then like they just kept bringing out a second plate and like more of these really cool specialty cuts of tuna. They even like give you like this huge soup. There's like tempura. It was a whole feast, and it's apparently all you can eat. So it was really satisfying. Elliot got a whole bottle of, I think, sake, Japanese alcohol, and then he like drank the whole thing. And I wasn't satisfied, so I dropped Ellie at the hotel. I'm like, I'm going back to Hongdae to go to this art supply store. And so I went to Homie Art, which is this really cool, huge, just your standard art student art supply stores. But I think because Hongdae is like a really artsy, hip place, it's super well equipped, and I think it serves the customers there, this kind of students that do these kind of art things. So I was able to buy some brands from South Korea with watercolor, like the Han. Oh my goodness, the name escapes me. I'll put in the description. And I was able to have a lot of fun there. We went to the store Best Pens the next day after a really hearty pork stew soup breakfast. All around us was just people from like offices, so I felt really out of place, but it was really fun. But we went to Best Pens, which is another cool stationery store. And then there's like, they hosted the MD pop-up once earlier last year, so I was really interested in seeing the store. It's kind of cool. But finally I went to Pen and Art, which is the last stationery store I hit, and this is where I was able to find the special platinum collaboration they did. It's called Strawberry Latte, and it's this beautiful, cute pink platinum 3776. They only had it in fine, which is fine. It's a special exclusive for the region. I had to get it. Oh, and look, Elliot really liked this Aston Martin outside the hotel that we were going to. So he took a photo with his big blue jacket. We indulged in like, is it Michelin star? Fine dining experience. in this part of town, Gangnam. This is called Botanic Garden, and they essentially serve you these intricate little dishes of Korean flavors and whimsical inspirations of like Korean snacks, but obviously elevated with presentation and the food material. It was amazing. And at first I was really worried too, because in Asia, like nuts are used pretty like prevalently, and pine nuts in South Korea, sometimes peanuts, and like especially during the fall winter season, like nuts, it's like abundant. But we were able to get through without Elliot needing any, without Elliot encountering any allergy attacks. I can't say the same for Taiwan, but we'll get there. Last day in Seoul, I actually at this point ran through everything in my itinerary. I was like very satisfied with all the places we went. I was like, there's one more day. Let's just take it easy and see where we go. So we chose one last place that I found on Little Red Book, 0 per 0, or Zero Space, I think was the store name. But it's this artist, and their artwork is actually featured in like all the stationery stores I've been to. They have all their products, but this is like the specialty store. And we went to Bokchung, we went to Namsan, and we went to Mule, I think. Mule at the end. We took the bus. We decided to go a little bit of a local route, and because I think it was a weekday, it was pretty chill. And we were lucky. The whole time the weather was just amazing. Like aside from it being cold, it was just sunny the whole time. Really nice. No snow. It didn't snow until the day we leave, and that was pretty amazing. But this is the little store. Super cute doggos, drawings, illustrations, called Zero Space Bokchon. And then this is where Elliot was like, okay, now it's my part of the trip. So he just kind of took me on these random walks. He just wants to see, like, poke into the alleys, walk down like the neighborhoods, occasionally spot cool cars. And that's where we kind of like climb onto these cool hills where we were able to see some scenes of the city. It's pretty neat. And then thanks to Elliot, I was able to discover this really cool store called Bokchon Lucy. And they have these amazing bags and pouches, all made with like real leather, not PVC. And you walk into the store, it just smells so good. And they're all in like the trendy Korean fashion, young girl, like the baguette style, the little different styles of bags. And I just went wild and bought so many bags there. Too bad they don't let me take photos inside. They said no photos, probably to deter copycats. But anyway. And then we felt the whim to go back to Myeongdong again, where Elliot wanted to go have his last meal, which is like he wanted to have this amazing beef we had in our first leg of the trip that I illustrated here. Namsan Tunji, which is Hanwoo sirloin specialty store. Like they really only serve the sirloin meat. But then I was like, oh, there's a stationery store nearby. Let's go check out the Pen Cafe. And I'm so happy we went because it's just such a cool space. So many inks to test, so many Korean brands in their colorverse, dominant industry, and of course a lot of Japanese stationery as well. We had a great time. We ate very well. And then for the last night, I was like, let's try a cool, funky neighborhood called Mule. And it's an industrial area converted into like a hip cafe-filled neighborhood. You can see it looks very old and retro, but I think that's the vibe that a lot of young people were looking for. We went there and we literally poked into so many coffee shops, but they were all bustling and full. All these South Korean young people enjoying their Saturday evening, I think. It's really fun. But we managed to find a little place. It's called Specialty Studio. And then he went next door to a bar. So we kind of like split up again briefly. I was like, okay, I'm gonna drink my coffee, eat my mochi dango here and journal while he goes over next door to have 2 drinks. It was a great night. last evening we had fried chicken, and then that's when the snow started, and boy did it came down. It like soaked. It was this much snow overnight. You look outside, pull the blinds, just flurries. And I was so glad that our hotel is literally a block away from the subway, which we'll take to go to the airport. So we weren't that affected, but I was so relieved that, you know, this doesn't affect any part of our trip. And off we go to Taipei. This is now, we enter the go home part. We booked a hotel because this time I didn't want to stay at home. It's just so that we can be more flexible, because we're actually having 2 friends joining us, also from Seattle, and we're going to just show them around Taipei and surrounding areas. So we kind of like stay at the hotel together in Xinyi area. We went. They were suffering from jet lag, by the way, these 2 friends, when they landed. So we were like, okay, let's go get breakfast. We went to Yonghe Doujiang, which is like the iconic breakfast place chain in Taiwan. Got these youtiao and shaobing, which is like these pan-fried buns with oil-fried donuts. Carb on carb, that's the Taiwanese way. Got some drinks, walked around. And then we went and immediately got beef noodles as an early lunch. I saw these cute little lemur, I think. These lemur buddies at the Xinyi district. While they recoup from their fatigue, I went to this really popular, to South Koreans actually, dessert place that you have to go super early in the morning. It's called Tianman. The Atelier Lotus, and it's essentially a scallion cracker sandwich filled with this sweet milk nougat, and so you eat it like a chewy snack, and it's super addicting and super delicious, and it's not sticky at all, easy to eat. I love it. I end up buying so much more and bringing it home. The next day, we were gonna go try the super high-end all-you-can-eat buffet up on the top of 101 building called A Joy. And it essentially is a love letter from Taiwan to the world, where they serve a variety of different dishes and plates, you know, a buffet style that like highlights, I mean, the rice of this region, the seafood of this region, the vegetables of this region. It's like a pretty expensive meal too. It's like almost $200 per ticket. And of course, Elliot immediately got himself into some trouble. 10 minutes into us sitting down, he grabbed this roasted corn dish off one of the appetizers, ate it, and I was like, oh shit, Elliot, you don't know it, but Taiwanese roasted corn have peanuts on it. They smear peanut butter and they roasted it. That's Taiwanese 手环梅. No! So we abandoned the restaurant so quick. They were also like, oh my goodness, what happened? And we had to run to the nearest, we ran back to our hotel first. Thankfully, he has his EpiPen. Got that thing done. And when I'm like, okay, next stop, urgent care. Let's make sure everything's all right. You know, see if they could like give you some follow-up advice. So we were able to walk into an urgent care, and what can I say? Taiwanese healthcare, just 1, 2, 3. They took care of him within like 30 minutes, gave him a shot, gave him some more antihistamine medicines, and we go and pay. It's $19 without insurance. $19 without insurance, and we're off. He did have to suffer the rest of the day in the hotel room, just kind of like enduring the stomach pain and the aftermath of the allergy attack. But I was so glad that nothing happened, and I was sad to miss this meal, but I figured I'll just go back and try myself. It was a little bit of a bummer start to the trip for sure. But we made up by eating Ding Tai Fung, the real Ding Tai Fung, the real deal Ding Tai Fung at the bottom 101, where we had amazing service, delicious xiaolongbao, and then I ordered Uber Eats Hochalo, which is a bubble tea place, to the hotel. After that scare, I left Elliot to go hang out with the boys by themselves. I met up with an old friend from Boston who happened to be traveling around the world, and she happened to be in Taiwan for that stop. So we hung out, we got oyster ramen, we caught up, had delicious dessert, and again in these kind of like retro cafes where they preserve the, you know, the nakedness of the building in its oldest form, which you can see a lot in Taiwan. And we had a good time. And then we kind of like made this the stationery day, where we went through the older neighborhoods of Taipei. We went to this letterpress store. We went to finally meeting up with my friend Judy from Tokubetsu Memory at Riso no Heya, which is in another part of town. And for dinner, we had night market food. My favorite night market in Taiwan is Zhaohe Yeshi, because it has everything one could want, honestly. The peppered bun, the pan-fried chickens, and stinky tofu, which I made everyone try. It was my favorite. And for my sister, she came along too. There's like these sweet potato balls where you deep fry. And there is also that roasted corn dish where they smear a ton of peanut butter, but I wasn't able to eat that. I don't want to risk anything. The next day, I actually invited my friend Drew, who I met up with the day before, to come with us, because we actually rented a van and a driver, and he took us to Ilan, which is just this little kind of like this different part of the country, not too far from Taipei, just an hour drive away. Where they're known for their duck dishes. So we indulged in this amazing meal. Yes, we went there for the duck and also for a whiskey tour at Cavalon, where the guys, they had a good time. It's a distillery and factory experience. And so I went there for the food, and I also had some chongyo bean right there, which is the scallion pancake sandwiches. And the guys, they enjoyed this kind of mixing, whiskey mixing experience. And actually my friend Drew also loved it too. She loves whiskey. So it was fun for everyone. And I get to see Elliot use his handwriting to write his own label for the bottle he mixed. And I had fun collecting stamps at all the stops of the distillery grounds. So, win-win. We went to a night market in Ilan called Luodong Yeshi, and this is the part where I realized I forgot to write and finish my journaling, but that's okay. He tried this interesting lamb soup noodle dish for the first time with a ton of spices, like Chinese medicine spice, and he really liked it. I don't though. Despite growing up in that culture, I'm good with Chinese medicine. I got Thai tea though. And then you just see it was just a lot of eating. And then the last few days is when I got to hang out with my family a lot more. We had some family meals together. I met up with my high school friends, while Elliot, they went off and do their own thing. And then finally, to end this trip, I attended my friend's wedding, which is really the reason why I went to Taiwan in the first place and plotted all this entire trip. That was kind of the 2-week adventure. So yeah, thanks for coming along with me and indulging me and sharing my stories. I had put together this refill when I was there, thinking I would use it to document like cafes I went to, coffee shops, but I kind of abandoned it. But well, stay tuned. I have more travel stories to tell with filled refills, and that will be for the next episode of Vlogmas. open this? That guy? Double.